Last time out, we had a new owner taking over the club, and he invested 1.1 million into the club's coffers. We convinced him to get us a new upgrade in the training facilities, which is all we could ask for at this point in time. But unfortunately, our league form had taken a massive hit compared to third place last year. We're 20 points off that already this season, and we're in a relegation fight, which I was not expecting after what we did last year. At least the youth intake preview was promising, so I guess we got that going for ourselves, but was it actually good for us long term? Let's find out. So we have arrived at the 20th of March. We have just had a youth intake, and we played our first 5 matches in the league since we last met, and since the winter break ended. We drew the first game, lost the next game, had a friendly which we won, and then won 2 of the next 3 matches by 3 goals to 2. And we even had a 16-year-old score a hat-trick for us. Matthias Norak has scored a hat-trick. And given that this is the state of the kid, and he's only 16 and is inconsistent, you can see why I was a little shocked that he scored a hat-trick in the league. He's now got 6 league goals, and he's doing quite well for himself. We are now in 14th place, 5 points away from the relegation zone, so I'm starting to think potentially we could be safe, but we still have 8 games to go, so anything is possible, unfortunately. However, we just had our youth intake, and already you can see that this is exciting. Apparently, it's only going to be a 4.5 star intake, which, again, is a bit of a shock. That it's this good, and it's not a golden generation. Let's go over the players. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the youth intake, and we didn't have a single player that had less than 3-star potential in ability, which tells me that maybe this isn't as good as I'd hoped it would be. This is Alexander Zubrin, one of the 3 strikers we were promised. He's unambitious, lacks bravery, and is inconsistent, but he still has potential to be really, really good if we give him in the right mentoring group. Exciting times. He's actually got some decent mentors as well, so he's not terrible. The next player is a DM in the form of Bolak, and he's inconsistent again, but other than his athleticism being bad, he's quite an exciting talent. Resilient personality, is definitely a playmaker. He really could be useful if we can develop him to where we want to be. This is the striker that I am the most excited about. A driven personality striker who is not inconsistent and can play in about 3 different positions. Robert Kowalski is quite exciting. Can be a winger, can be an advanced playmaker, and also can be advanced forward. The fact he's driven and he wants to get everything he needs is perfect, and we could absolutely make this guy a mainstay up front. I'm just happy he's not inconsistent. Another player, another midfielder. This guy is quite inconsistent, but has a spirited personality, so there's some things I'll take 100%. His pace is definitely one of those things I'm excited about, and I can see him potentially being an inverted winger, and hopefully will be good. Now, I'm highlighting this because key and preferable is what I'm looking at. Inverted winger is probably better for him because his crossing is terrible for a winger, though if we make him inverted, it's not a key attribute. It's just something that would be preferred, and given how much we can tinker this to our liking, I think this kid could be really good. He's also fairly strong on his left foot as well, so maybe an even-footed player. It's just a shame he's inconsistent, but at least he's not terrible. So the next player I want to talk about is actually potentially the most exciting young talent we have, and that's Mariusz Dabrowski. I know I'm probably saying the first part of his last name wrong, but I don't know how to say the accent for the A, so apologies in advance for that. But this guy is driven in his personality, and he's considered a 2.5-star current ability player in our team, which is already the best player, and he's probably going to make sure that he will be in the first team sooner rather than later, if not straight away. The fact he's got 20 determination is perfect, and he literally plays the role I want, and he's either-footed, very strong on either foot. It's just a shame he likes to get forward whenever possible, which is a detriment to the role he is expected to play. And hopefully, once we get rid of that player trait and make his passing even better and his first touch even better, we could have a superstar on our hands. This is also still just a 3rd-tier player on paper, according to the background staff, which again is not ideal for us. Dariusz Jasinski is also a very exciting talent who could also be a striker. So that's our first striker right here now. And gonna be honest with you, I'm happy that this guy is good. He is inconsistent though, doesn't have the best intelligence, and, well, is not very good at anticipating anything, but we can work on that. We just need to work on him and progressively make him better and better. We've also got a 5-star potential goalkeeper in Michel Keselowski, and he's not got the best aerial reach. I don't know why he's only got 4 aerial reach when he's 6 foot, but apparently that's a problem we need to address, and I don't know how to fix that. Can someone tell me how to fix that? I really wish I knew. I'm also going to talk about the 4.5-star potential ability players as well, because Checo is actually quite an interesting player. Very good mentals, as far as I'm concerned. He just needs to work on a few things here and there to improve it, and I'll be playing him as a wingback on attack. The fact he's got 11 flair, 11 positioning, and 14 work rate is perfect. He's not got the best speed though, and he needs to work on his dribbling a bit more. But other than that, he looks quite exciting, but he's inconsistent and unambitious. It's not ideal. And then we got Jacob Gowan, who is apparently a winger and can be an attacking midfielder. I see him more as a central player who can play as Mazzala. I look at him, I see his 11 long shots, 12 decision making, and 14 work rate. That works really well. Could also play as a box-to-box if I really was desperate, but his strength takes that away from me, so I'm not going to do that. So definitely a Mazzala in this regard. He just feels like a good player, but he is inconsistent and has a balanced personality, so that takes away from him as far as I'm concerned. Nice leadership though, but he just needs to be better, really. Those are the 4.5-star potential ability players. I could have gone on about the entire list because I'm actually going to sign all of them because of how good the potential is, but I'm not going to. It's just one of those things. We need to go forward and see how did we get on at the end of the season. So we have finished our season and wow, did we struggle. Yeah, this might be the worst one of them I've ever had. We only picked up 4 points in the last 8 matches and lost 6 of them. I don't know what happened here, but I wish we had better form. Water Poznan, I know we beat in the past and I was expecting to win against. I did not see the 2-0 defeat coming. Leslie Poznan, I saw that coming. But with I just didn't see us losing that game. I thought we could do better against both Gornick teams and get 6 points instead of just the 4. I definitely didn't see us losing the last 3 games. I saw 1 defeat against Legia, but not the other 2 games being defeats. So, yeah, it's not our best season by that regards. And I wish I knew why we're so poor. But we did survive despite only picking up 4 more points towards the end of the season. In fact, in the 13 games, we only picked up another 12 points. So we really did not do ourselves justice at all. And quite frankly, we are lucky that the team below us, who did beat us, was so poor. It was easily our worst of a season in this league, in this season. And I just don't know what to do in that regards. I like to think it's because the older players that are leaving us that we did so badly. But yeah, it's not a good sign if this is what we can do after finishing 3rd place the year before. What an almighty fall from grace this could have been. We almost had an Ipswich Town where we qualified for Europe and then got relegated straight away. It was that bad for me. But still, despite that, we're actually expected to be relegated, so we got confetti falling anyway. So even though we are rubbish and didn't deserve any praise at all, we still overachieved because we did get relegated. So 3 years in a row, we have survived. I just wish I could be happy because I'm not. You look at the players that left us and you can see potentially one of the reasons why we didn't do so well. We let go of a load of people that were experienced. That's an issue. We got rid of experience this year in Pietri Kakles and Jamski, who all left us, both in their 30s. They weren't really good enough anymore, but it's just something we could have done. I don't think we could have done much with, and it's because they're already getting older and just not good enough. We're going to have to get rid of more experienced players in the near future, but it was not ideal to say the least, how badly we did. We let a player go on loan in Daniel Palac, and he actually did okay, so he might be a player that comes back and does better. He is now a balanced personality. He was actually a casual personality when he left us, so he's actually benefited from his loan spell. Hallelujah. Yeah, season results. C+, despite the fact we got away from relegation when we were expected to be relegated. That is a lie, though. They weren't expecting us to remain in the league, first and foremost. That's the fans, not the board. But we did actually win a game in Europe. We just lost twice against Anderlecht in the Europa Conference League, so it's not ideal there. And getting knocked out by Legia Warsaw was not a shock. It was not a bad performance. So really, that's an overachievement that we only lost by a goal to 0. Moments to remember, 5-1 victory against Shakhtar Zalogos. And yeah, that was the first game of the year. Our biggest win as well. The match, remember, was the second leg when we drew 1-1 and actually won a game in Europe overall, so however that. Goal of the season was actually this goal, and I'm actually shocked that this is the goal that got the goal of the season, but then I remember seeing it again. It's our first ever time we've taken a point off Legia Warsaw, and it's probably the only time we'll do so in the next 10 years. That's how little favour I have in this team to do well against them. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why Webicki got the goal of the season. A free kick from there, the Wolves should do better, but it's still a goal he scored from 35 yards out, and he had no right to score. We absolutely got away with one here when we escaped with a 1-0 draw in this match. Financially, we actually did do better with the sponsorship. We actually are now 446,000 in the sponsorship. We're now a 2.5-star team in reputation, and broadcast revenue is exactly the same. We actually made more money in corporate and hospitality. We did lose about $1 million in prize money though, and we also made 42,000 more in match day commercial and retail, which is nice. Merchandise, we gained about 10,000 more, and we've sold over 1,300 shirts as well, so at least we're doing okay there. We just need to do better overall next season. How we line up was this, and you can always see some problems. And we actually had some players did okay. I dropped some players partway through this season because I just wasn't happy with them, and I must confess, I didn't see this kid being one of them. I've actually transfer listed him as well, because I wasn't happy. But apparently he did okay. 8 assists, 3 goals, so maybe I dropped him too soon. Who knows? But Tajorki did okay. Goalkeeper getting a 6.66 average rating. That's my weakness, I think. And perhaps I need to drop him. The fact our top goal scorer 14 goals and had a 6.78 average rating compared to the last couple of years is also a testament to maybe where our problems lie. It's not great, is it? Still, we're okay. Wybicki got the player of the season, and Marcel got the young player of the season, which is good. Wybicki got the goal of the season. Jacob got the top goal scorer again, while Wybicki got the most assists, and Tajorki got the most player of the match awards, and the highest average rating, and the most passes per 90 as a centre-back, which is impressive. And then Matthias Nowak got the most goals in a match with his hat-trick, so that's great. But Tajorki has now officially made the most league appearances by a single player, with 230 appearances. Jacob Satar has now scored 70 goals, while Wybicki is actually the oldest goal scorer, 33 years of age and 261 days, which is a lot more than I was expecting, actually. But yes, history in the making, your hard work and effort paid off on the pitch, and such a feat didn't go unrewarded at our end-of-season award ceremony. Motor Lublin started better than anyone would have expected, and eventually set up as a result. Motor Lublin flew out the traps and set themselves up well to eventually avoid relegation. I don't know where they're getting that from, but we did not do well at all, honestly. And yes, here we are. It's getting bigger and bigger now, isn't it, this list? And, oh boy. 4 seasons now we got this? It says a lot that it's getting bigger and bigger, isn't it? So, yeah, it's getting bigger. And we are setting unwanted records. This year was definitely our worst year. We've made over 100 appearances as a manager now. We're getting close to 200 games, actually, now I think about it. But yeah, a lot of players we brought in, a lot of young talent we've invested in now, and it's going to be good. We also got a Manager of the Month or a Year award, so we're doing okay there. But look at the amount of young talent we've produced here. It's good, but then you realise this record now exists. A relegation avoided. Where's the goal? 36 goals scored this year, 32 points, lowest ever we've achieved. And I'm going to show you this team stats. We consider the second most goals in the entire season, and scored just 36 goals, the 6th worst in the league. There's a reason why we're struggling this season. We couldn't defend, and we're struggling for goals. It's very, very disappointing. The record low number of wins, record low whole of league goals. Yes, we set some records for the lowest number of wins, the lowest number of league goals, and the lowest number of points in the season. That's a lie, that's a joint worst, but apparently it's a thing either way. But we still actually gained 1,000 followers despite how bad our season was. We got rid of some fair weather fans, thankfully, and gained more family-friendly and hardcore supporters, so it's not terrible. But they also want me to become an established team next year, which I don't think we were able to do, so there's that. An expectation for the club? Attempt to avoid relegation, so at least the board are more realistic, even if they want me to become an established team next season afterwards, so maybe I spoke too soon. But still, the season has ended now on the 29th of May, 2027. We know who are going down, but who went up? Well, 2 of the teams that went down last year have gone back up, but Madez Lagnica was not a team I was expecting to go back up. So they're back in the top flight again for the first time in a few seasons. And last time we took on them, they got relegated for the second tier. So they're now in the top flight for the first time in years. so good for them. As for European competitions, Wolves won the Europa Conference League, beating Werder Bremen in the final. Good news, though, was actually that Lecce Poznan got to the quarterfinals competition and eventually were beaten up by Wolves after losing 7-2 in a game. They actually won a match against Wolves by 2-1. So, yes, they've beaten Wolves, but then lost them anyway. And in the Europa League final, Arsenal beat Leicester to win it for the second time in 5 seasons. Another good thing was the fact that Legia Warsaw got to the quarterfinal of this competition and eventually lost to Bayer Leverkusen. So, I think we're doing okay in coefficients. But the Champions League winners were Bayern Munich after they beat Paris Saint-Germain in the final, which means that neither Man City or Paris Saint-Germain have won the Champions League yet in this save. What I'm also going to say is the fact that Poland look good. They got 10 points this season in the coefficients, and Poland should also be in 14th place in the coefficients because of how well both Legia Warsaw and Lecce Poznan did in Europe. So we should have one more spot in Europe next season, which is perfect for our point of view. I also want to go over the Euros because England beat Austria in the final. Poland got to the semi-final of the Euros in 2024. And yeah, I'll take that honestly if I am Poland. So, good season for them. Austria getting to the final and then losing to England in extra time. That's heartbreaking, really. As for the 2026 World Cup, Brazil beat USA in the final. England were beaten by Brazil in the quarterfinals on penalties. Ukraine got to the semi-finals. Argentina were knocked out by USA in the semis as well. Angola getting to the quarters was a bit of a shock, but that's still impressive in a way. I just wanted to cover these because I thought it was something I hadn't done before, and it was rather interesting. What I'm going to do is end this here. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope you guys like and share this video, and that you subscribe to the channel. It really does help me a lot. Were we lucky to survive the league this year, and should we be concerned for next season? I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on that down below. But either way, until next time, goodbye, and well, good night.